Welcome to Town Board meeting Thursday, June 1st. Please rise and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So Dawn wants us to move over one. Dawn wants us to each move over.
If you want to, because he's not
getting this.
Emergency exits are to your right and back of the town attorney. Also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Purdy,
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle, here, Blackman, Rebellard, and let the record reflect that Councilman Gutierrez will be absent this evening.
Is there any public comment? No. Town clerk report.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Just reporting that the local share has been remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $495.25, with our total for the state, county, and local revenues being $604.25. For tax collection through 6:30 this evening, total amount of taxes collected is $6,872,890.58. In penalties collected is $24,306.85, and in our notice fees, $58. Today's date, as we all know by this point in the day, is June 1st. Tax collection, for in-person tax collection, it has concluded. However, as our office does accept postmarked, by our next town board meeting, I'll be able to have the final amounts that were presented to the county. So we have to wait for the mail. Also sharing this evening and with the public, as you would have heard at our previous meeting, the supervisor and the town board had authorized me to advertise for an open paid position. So anyone that is interested in an open paid part-time clerk position here at the town hall, please get me your letter of interest and or resume no later than June 12th at noon, so I may advise the board and we can conduct interviews later that week. Also, currently at the town clerk's office, we are still accepting sidewalk bids. They are due on Monday morning. Other than that, that's going to conclude the town clerk's report for today.
Recreation Commission report. Paul, you're on.
Good evening, everybody. Paul Winters, Amenia Recreation Commission Chairman. I just got a message from the students because of this being graduation coming up shortly. The students that were going to come down tonight and give their presentation unfortunately cannot make it, and I'm actually getting text messages right now asking if the town board can reschedule their presentation to you guys. It's just an after-action report of what happened at Community Day for the Weebatuck Student Leadership Challenge. They would like to come down for the next town board meeting for that presentation.
That's in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Just let me know for sure so I can put it in the agenda.
So I'll let them know that. The other things that I had sent you guys an email about is we would like, the Rec Commission would like to ask that the town procurement policy be updated in our process of working towards getting the soccer goals for Wasaig. The supervisor provided with us what the town procurement policy actually is, and from the best that we could tell, the last time it was updated was in 2009. Since then, prices of things have gone up dramatically, and we believe that the prices are kind of a little too low for what the reality is of today. Also, we felt that it wasn't very clear in that procurement policy that we need to get 3 bids. We felt that our particular purchase that we were attempting to have fell under category section 6, subparagraph A, or subsection A, paragraph 2, which showed us only needing to provide one quote along with a letter expressing our reasoning behind the selection. We were able to get more quotes for the items. We just want it to be updated so it's clear for any future commission members that might get on there. So if you guys would consider taking the time to update that procurement policy. We would like it very much. The next thing that we had was the student presentation, but unfortunately the students are kind of busy tonight. And then the third thing is that we asked about 2 or 3 meetings ago to move forward with using the general fund for, well, actually, no, it's the Amenia Recreation
Savings account.
Capital Fund, right?
It's not
We asked to move forward
capital
with using $3,900 to expand the scope for the architect to begin working with Wassaic Project and with New York State DEC, because they have both offered land for us to be able to expand recreation opportunities down in Wassaic. At the time, there was concern that possibly that we just need to get the lawyers to weigh in on this, on what the, if it was legal to do it or so or not. We received our letter, our email yesterday from the town lawyer stating pretty much that we can move forward on this. It is legal, it has been done times before. We just have certain requirements that we have to follow. So we would ask that the town board vote for a resolution to spend the $3,900 to expand the scope for the Jane DeDono Architects. That's pretty much it. Also, we would like to announce to, I'm going to announce to the community, listen, we are really close as a commission to canceling summer camp this year. So far, we've only had 3 applicants who have put in applications for summer counselors. We're concerned that we're not going to be able to hire enough people. We have an EMT that's ready to be hired, so that portion is taken care of. No one has applied for the assistant position. We would really like to have someone there for to help Katie out during that time. But the big thing is if we don't get kids showing up to work as counselors, we just can't have the summer camp.
Paul, did you say there were 3 applications?
There's been
for
3 applicants
counselors?
in. One just isn't going to make it. We believe that the rec director feels comfortable with the other 2, but that would only give her 2. And if one of those counselors happened to call out sick, then she wouldn't have the legally required amount of people to cover at least 24 campers. So we would like to have 3. So we need 1 more. And we're going to make a decision on June 13th. That's 2 weeks away. So if there's any grandparents out there or parents that have a kid that's looking for 3 weeks of work towards the end of the summer, please get them to get their application into the rec director. Our biggest request from the community was to have summer camp brought back. And we did the best that we could this year with the short time that we had. We felt that we were helping the community by following in behind AWOC's summer camp program, because they provide 6 weeks, and we were going to provide another 3 weeks, which would almost cover the entire summer, and give the kids in Amenia someplace to go for the entire summer. But like I said, if we don't get the kids to sign up to take jobs, then we just can't do it. My final announcement is on June 13th, we have moved forward on, there's basically four, we have broken down our 5-year plan of improvement for recreation into phases. We will be presenting phase 1, which is the Amenia Green concept. This is here next to the town hall. The basic idea is that we want to just improve, we want to take care of the flooding issue out here. That's always been a problem out here in this field. Along with that, that will also help next door neighbors with flooding issues, because we know that there's problems with flooding in the houses next door. And then this would also give us, the town, a place to gather, because we want to build an amphitheater / pavilion over here in one corner. We want to create a walking track that goes all the way around the entire field. We want to create a splash pad back here. The town had requested a swimming pool, which after looking at the numbers, we decided that that just wasn't feasible in the long term for the town financially. But what has been very successful in the communities in the Dutchess County community is this splash pad concept. It's just a bunch of water shooting up out of the ground. It's easy to maintain, and the kids seem to enjoy it just as much as a swimming pool. And the other options that we had discussed is possibly moving the basketball court down to Beekman Park. The community came out pretty hard against that because we wanted to create more parking for the downtown area, but the community really seems to like the basketball court there. So we said, okay, let's look at other options. And the other option that is feasible is we could expand the town parking lot here next to the town hall. We could bring that out into the field more while still maintaining the use of the field, also maintaining the hill for sleigh riding and stuff like that, because I know that's a big sleigh riding hill in the winter. And it would give the town more parking. You know, people could park here, walk down the walking track, and get into the middle of town. That presentation will be happening on June 13th. We will be presenting that master plan to the town board to ask for their approval. The reason that we need to do that is we cannot apply for any kind of grants to move to the next step if the town board does not approve our master plan. Now, that's not going to cost the town any money at this point. Once that master plan is approved by the town board, the onus is on the Recreation Commission to find the funding. We understand that we don't have a lot of money, but we fully believe that between grants and fundraising, that we can make this park happen, this concept happen with very minimal impact to the taxpayer. Any questions?
We don't know yet when Phase 2 would be presented.
We have to get approval from you guys that we can spend the $3,900, and the architect is ready to go on it.
In what phase is the expansion of the, and upgrading of the concession stand?
Say it again?
The concession stand? That was the
concession
first thing
stand,
that you were discussing?
So-
And doesn't even sound like it's part of the plan.
No, because the people that wanted to get behind it don't want anything to do with it anymore. So there's no reason for us to spend any money on it.
Well, that's not a good reason.
So if we don't have anybody that's willing to run the concession stand, then why should we spend money? Should we even worry about it right now? The people that were interested in it felt that there were some things that the town board was being difficult about, so they just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Difficult about what? Because we were fully supportive of any upgrade you were going to do to this concession
understand.
stand.
I'm not going to get into the personal reasons as to
Well,
why they
there
changed
sounds
their
like
mind.
yes, but you just did. You just got into personal reasons and putting the onus on us, which is unfair and untrue. And I'm not going to put up with that.
This is what was given to the commission. You can look at our commission meeting minutes. The people that were willing to do it said in our open meeting that they were not interested anymore because they felt the town board was being difficult, and that's all they stated. This was at our commission. Our representative, our liaison was there. He can vouch for that.
Well, the last
bathrooms don't meet ADA, right? I mean,
I'm sorry?
The bathrooms alone aren't really in compliance with.
I'm not understanding. I'm sorry.
The bathrooms at Beekman Park aren't really compliant, as I understood.
Yes, that's correct.
So there is a problem there.
That is correct.
That alone needs to be addressed, no?
We can keep working on that as a commission. There are grants available to make those bathrooms ADA compliant.
So the town board may suggest that at minimum, we bring those existing facilities into compliance before, or at least acknowledge the fact that they need to be included in any plan, because that would be your first thing, right?
That was my first thing to try to get done last year.
Well, it was my understanding that Councilman Blackman met with the Department of Health. I have an email from them showing two different ways that the concession stand could be upgraded. I'm not saying specifically for one person to take it over, but upgraded on a scale which you have too, so you decided to just throw that out?
So there's just, so much one person can do, right?
But you're not even making it one of the phases?
I can put it in phase 2. I can probably make it happen this year. I could keep working on it, and we could apply for, in the CFA grants that are due by July 28th. We can include it in phase 1. It can go right along with what we're trying to do down here at the.
But you have to
agreement.
decide on which plan. Because the Department of Health presented 2.
So
Victoria,
we would do the simpler plan. We're not going to put a full-blown kitchen in there. I just don't. The feedback that I got from the community is that they don't believe that it would be successful to put a full Board of Health approved kitchen in there because of the cost. The cost for that would probably be $100,000 to $150,000, and the community feedback that I got is that they didn't feel that there would be enough success for someone to run a business there, right, that it would require. And if we put $150,000 into it, then whoever would run that concession stand, we would want them to pay for the
But
use of that.
doesn't the existing concession stand have deficiencies that we
yeah, I
should
mean,
take care of?
what we had talked about, and I think what the plan was for this summer, just so it could operate this summer, was to do the minimal stuff so they could have packaged food,
Right.
And
we can still move
bottles
forward
and
with that.
cans of beverages and that sort of stuff. To do a bigger upgrade, which included, a grill and
A hood,
ventilation and
ventilation, all that.
all that stuff was expensive and obviously couldn't be done quickly. It couldn't be done this year. But the expectation was that REC was going to go ahead with this sort of simpler project this summer. I'm sorry, the issue was with a person that was going to operate it or a person who's
Yes,
just
the
been
person,
pushing?
the person that
Okay.
was going to operate it, the
Okay.
Kentucky Little League.
Okay.
They backed out on it at the last rec meeting.
But that's not to say we still can't correct any deficiencies.
Sure, we can most certainly do that.
And shouldn't that be part of a phase of any plan that you
Like I
have?
said, I can include it right into phase 1, no problem.
Well, I was just surprised it wasn't there already. Because that was the first thing you were talking about as far as,
That is correct. and
improvement
that
of the
is-
park.
that conversation started a year ago, and I have not been able, it gets a little frustrating at times for me because it just takes so long to get something done.
Well, it isn't so much getting it done, but if you're going to put something in phases and you know there's deficiencies in the concession stand in the park, that it just makes sense that you would put it in a phase so that it can be addressed.
Sure. I can put, like I said, I'll put it in phase 1.
But it
no
doesn't
problem.
mean you have to have everything done tomorrow. I mean, it's part of the overall plan.
Yeah, no problem. I'll include it in the phase 1. Any further questions?
What time and where? What time and where?
For the,
June
so we have
13th.
requested use of the town board room meeting for June 13th at 6 PM.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for our architect to reach out to our tech guy here to tell us how we can do a digital display. We would like to have the meeting here, so if the town board agrees to allow us to use this space on June 13th, we'd appreciate it very much.
And just to be clear, you're not referring to me as an architect, right?
Sir?
You're referring to Jane, not to me, as when you say architect, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, Jane.
Just wanted to be sure. 13th.
The first hour will be for the architect's presentation, and then the next hour and a half will be for Rec Commission's regular scheduled meeting, because we made it an hour and a half this time because we feel that there's going to be a lot to discuss. Because if, just as last year, whenever summer camp did not happen, we asked the town to reuse the funds, and if summer camp does not happen this year, we will be looking at projects such as a concession stand that we could use that funding to fix those problems with.
Sounds good.
All right, any further questions?
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks.
Resolution number?
70.
Adopting revised Town of Amenia Employee Handbook. Whereas the town board of the town of Amenia is desirous of maintaining an up-to-date employee handbook which details current and accurate personnel policies and procedures, employee benefits, compliance policies, and other pertinent information governing employment-related matters, and whereas the town board has retained Public Sector HR Consultants LLC, the consultant, to prepare a revised and updated version of the town's employee handbook that accomplishes the foregoing objectives. Whereas the town board, by Resolution 28, 2021, adopted a revised version of the town's employee handbook, whereas the consultant has suggested further updates the town's employee handbook to accommodate the New York State cannabis law enacted on March 31st, 2021, to update the town's sexual harassment policy, to amend the definition of part-time employee, to amend holiday pay and bereavement pay for part-time employees. Whereas the town board has reviewed the draft versions of updated and revised employee handbook, which is annexed here too, and made a part hereof, and has made determinations as to appropriate contact. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. The town board of the town of Amenia hereby adopts the attached revised version of the town's employee handbook as the official employee handbook of the town of Amenia, that the newly updated and revised town of Amenia employee handbook shall be distributed with signed acknowledgement to all town officials and employees, and I make that motion.
I'll second that, and I have a question. The issue that came up last time about,
Has been rectified.
but there's nothing in the employee handbook that said that I mean, like, in other words, that the benefits to an existing employee,
No, that,
how is that
There's
recorded,
some-
that's all?
no, there was just one employee that needed to be grandfathered in and was.
Okay. So that these changes are for other existing and new employees?
Yes.
then? Okay.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Resolution number
71?
71. Employing legal services conflict special prosecutor for the town of Amenia for calendar year 2023. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Amenia does hereby employ and retain Mesner Reeves LLP to serve as conflict special prosecutor for vehicle and traffic offenses, as well as violations of the town's zoning codes and ordinances, in which the town prosecutor is conflicted from prosecuting in the town of Amenia Justice Court. Resolved, conflict special prosecutor will provide the above services in accordance with the proposal dated May 25, 2023, during calendar year 2023. Be it further resolved that Mesner Reeves LLP shall be paid in accordance with the engagement letter submitted to the town supervisor dated May 25, 2023. Be it further resolved, the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the retainer agreement. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revelard?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, resolution authorizing purchase of soccer goals and associated equipment for Wassaic Park. Whereas the Town of Amenia Recreation Commission is seeking to purchase soccer goals and associated equipment for Wassaic Park to encourage and foster recreational soccer within the town. And whereas the Recreation Commission, in compliance with the Town of Amenia procurement policy, obtained 4 quotes. And whereas the following quotes were received: Pivo Sports Company, goals length 2,990, Sportsman of Litchfield, that's under associated equipment, $600. Anthem Sports, $3,457.74. GiantMart.com, $3,023. Whereas Pivo Sports Company has submitted the lowest quote for their soccer goals and anchors, whereas the town board of the town of Amenia has determined it is in the best interest of the town and the Recreation Commission to authorize the purchase of the soccer goals and anchors for Wassaic Park from Pivo Sports Company in the amount of $2,690, whereas Sportsman of Litchfield submitted the only quote for associated equipment to set the anchors for the goals. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia has determined it is in the best interest of the Town and Recreation Commission to authorize the purchase of the associated equipment for Wassaic Park from Sportsman of Litchfield in the amount of $600. Now therefore be it resolved, one, that the recitations above set forth are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. The Town Board hereby authorizes the purchase of the soccer goals from EVO Sports Company in the amount of $2,690. The Town Board hereby authorizes the purchase of the associated equipment from Sportsman of Litchfield in the amount of $600, that the funds will be paid from the Park and Recreation Savings Budget line number 205.01. The Town Board hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to execute any and all documentation necessary to effectuate this resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Rattelard?
Yes.
There you go.
That's great.
Sure.
I just want to ask, how long would it be before we could place these orders? Because we're hoping to get these
Monday.
equipment. I'm sorry?
Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Just
That
go
was
to
it.
Wendat. She's our order person.
Thank you very much. Awesome. We were trying to get it down there before soccer season was over.
Okay, Monday it
Appreciate it.
is.
You guys enjoy your night.
Okay, under other matters, I had an email, which I've included in here, from Habitat for Humanity, who is interested in a piece of Town of Amenia property near the rail trail parking lot that the town currently owns. And what they would like is, they've already paid for and done the survey for the property. And now they would like to conduct a study on that property to see if it can support a septic system. And so I sent it to Byron, and he sent me the requirements for insurance for them to work on the property. And the gentleman who sent me the email from Habitat for Humanity is in receipt of the insurance requirements, and also another requirement from the town attorney for a scope of work, I believe. And he's going to be working on that, so they'll be starting on that.
That's great. And they're paying for that themselves?
Yes.
Great. Good. That's lovely.
So that's moving ahead.
Good.
Are there any town board comments?
I actually had some other matters comments, but either way is fine. The Stoneleaf parking, I know we brought this up before, but are we going with the, I wasn't entirely clear how we ended that. The last thing is we sent them requests, which they rejected, and then I just want to make sure that eventually this thing gets painted and paved. Where is that? What do we have to do, if anything?
I am as equally confused as to where that had left off.
Okay.
To the board, there was email comments about where we were going with that, and it kind of never took the next step from that. So at this point, the concept of putting stickers on the vehicles was rejected.
Right.
There was a subsequent suggestion that you had made, but I don't believe anybody has really commented on that. So I don't, that was kind of the last suggestion that was out. So I don't.
Well,
I
my
don't know where to
suggestion
go.
was just to do it with signage and not to make them do a sticker, but just to make it very clear that they had 11 spots and that people should be aware that, the rest of it is town parking. But that wasn't discussed with, the board didn't make
Correct.
a decision on that.
Correct.
so-
That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay. So should I resend the note I did last time about that to the board, and then we can discuss that, or do you want to discuss, the board, do you want to discuss the outlines of that now?
Well, my question is, should this sticker versus tag hold up the whole project?
Well, that's why I was thinking that instead of doing that, we could just, specify what the signage is when you come in, that explains that there are spots identified that are for employees and visitors to Stoneleaf, and that all the others are for people that have a business at Town Hall or something to that effect. Just so that we can explain, just so that we can kind of make sense of that to people as they're driving in. So I don't know if people are comfortable with that, and I can certainly resend what I had sent out last time. Does that make sense to people? Shall I just resend that?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right.
And upon receipt, I'll take that and I'll reach out to Stoneleaf.
Okay. Okay. The charcoal kilns, Victoria, and I know that the Historical Society is working on signage, but are they officially open? Do we have to make an announcement?
No, they haven't contacted me yet for us to take it over. They're still working on it.
It still isn't, okay, I didn't
Yeah, it's
realize that.
still a work in progress.
Okay. Great. Sorry for all this old business stuff. Oh, there's still an open application for a building inspector, yes? I think I asked you that previously, and you said yes, so that's still out there. Okay.
Yeah, and I actually called the consultant company we had who came in and filled in when our building inspector was out.
Right.
And he's going, to let me know if he is aware of any possibilities for us.
Recommendations, okay.
And if some reason the building inspector should, go on vacation for a week or whatever, he could provide someone to fill in the
Great.
interim.
Okay, that's good to hear. And the last, well, it may not be the last thing, I don't want to promise. Ian, the title company that you were going to ask to look at the center of Wassaic, were you able to find them, and are they,
So
what's the story with that?
I have obtained 2 quotes. I'm trying to get a third. I've had 2 companies decline because it is.
Can we go with 2 quotes?
We could go with 2.
Do you want to do that?
I wouldn't mind trying to get a third.
Yeah, I mean, I
but-
guess it is professional services, but I'm sorry, Mike, you said that you got two people opted out, but you got, the 2 people that you got quotes from, and then there were 2 people that didn't.
Yeah,
provide
there's 2
quotes.
people. There was 2 title companies
Okay.
that I had.
So we can
we've reached
go
out
ahead
to
then.
4.
Okay.
But because it's a unique piece of title work. It's involved. So a lot of people, one, aren't really equipped to do it. That's number one. Number 2, they don't want to do it.
And
So-
you had given us a sort of a range of costs last time, or the bids that you got, or the quotes you got?
They're all
within
in that
range?
same range.
Okay.
So they're I feel comfortable that the range is appropriate.
Okay.
So if the board would like, I could do a resolution for next meeting.
I think we should, I mean,
Yeah.
that would be my
Yeah.
preference.
Yes, because, if you had 2 other people you tried to get quotes for and didn't get them, then that counts as 2 quotes.
Correct.
As for procurement.
And the last thing on other matters, as opposed to town board comments, was the highway garage. Now that we got a price from them, which actually I think was lower than the kind of ballpark they gave us in the first place, do we need to discuss that as a board, or what's the next step there?
Yeah, one of the things I did is I went on the NYSERDA website
Uh-huh.
and to look to see if there were any incentives, and lo and behold, there were incentives for new construction.
Ah.
And it said if you had, but in order to be eligible for the incentives, for like clean energy incentives for new construction, you had to have a consultant. And they had a list of consultant, and I saw there was a consultant from Labella. So I immediately emailed Pascal.
Right.
And said to him, well, I think we need to look to see what we can build into the highway garage to be eligible for these incentives. since there's somebody from your company who's a consultant, so we meet that criteria, so they were going to go ahead and do that.
Oh, that's great, okay. And, no, the last thing was town board comments, so I'll hold, at least for a moment.
Yeah, there was one other thing, before we move on to any other town board comments. Ian, I think we have to do a motion to authorize the study, the septic study for the property. Because I need to do, it says he would need a letter.
You mean Habitat? For
Yeah, it
Habitat
said,
to do-
yeah, that's who I'm talking about. I would need a letter allowing us to conduct the work.
Then, yeah, you should have, the board seemed to have consensus, but we should do, I would do a motion authorizing you to execute any documentation necessary for them to proceed with their due diligence. Yeah, that would be sufficient.
Got that, John? Mm-hmm. Okay, I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Giving her the authority, she's making her own motion. Sorry, I was,
Great.
right? Unless somebody else wanted to make it. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Blackman?
Yes.
Revillard?
Yes.
Okay, any other town board comments?
Are there other town board comments? I don't want to take all the oxygen around.
Anybody?
I wanted to just
like-
pass along a comment that I got at the end of the Memorial Day ceremony on May 29th at Fountain Square, and that was from one of the Color Guard volunteers from the VFW 5444. He said he had driven by on Saturday of Planting Day, which was the prior weekend before, and saw everybody out there working away at planting the red, white, and blue flowers, and he really said it touched him, and he really appreciated that extra touch at the ceremony, you know, that everything looked good for the ceremony, and he appreciates all that effort from the Enhancement Committee and whoever else volunteered that day. Thank you.
Great. Okay, I have one more thing. The map plan and report for the wastewater system. I just wanted to see if we can figure out, I think there was a gap of $20,550 between the money that the money that the housing board has, I'm sorry, not the housing board, the wastewater committee has access to, and what they need to hire the lawyer and the engineer to move that along. Again, as I've said for so many times that I'm like sick of hearing myself, I just again realized that the infrastructure money has a limit to it, and we've missed 2 years of funding already. So I like to make sure that we move this along as quickly as possible so that we actually can take advantage of that money before it runs out. So I wondered if there are ways to do that. I mean, there was money that paid for the tie-in bond original wastewater money, which I would think that we could kind of turn back around, which would cover a good piece of that. But I'd just like to make sure that we're working towards that, towards solving that.
I would agree that we need to move ahead.
Is there any other town board comments?
I will also mention that Mary Lambert from CAPI, the program that Amenia is one of 9 communities involved in, has found yet another intern from Vassar College who is going to work with the town of Amenia through July to try and finish up our emissions calculations for the town of Amenia so that we can then identify high priority goals for further reducing our emissions and reliance on fossil fuels. So we're we're still working away. We got through quite a bit of it, and they feel we're very close to getting a full analysis of where the opportunities would be for greater savings.
That's great. So, I'm sorry, in terms of the wastewater system, Victoria, I mean, I saw a few lines where it looked like there might be money that could be moved. Were you willing to look at that and see if you can come up with a solution?
At what line?
I'm sorry?
What lines?
Let's see. There was, oops, sorry. Too much paper.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You should see my desk.
Well, my desk is a horror, and I don't have nearly the number of things to worry about that you do. Okay, wait a second. I know that there was a $10,000 line in the budget for planning for housing, and the housing board isn't expecting to use that money, so that was one possibility. And there was, well, the $20,000 in wastewater engineering we know about already. If we include the engineering planning grant, that's $14,080. So to get to, that's getting us pretty close to, there probably need to be another $1,000 or $1,500 to sort of pay the final amount for the engineer and lawyer. Oh, and I didn't give you, I'm sorry, the planning housing item number was 1080204.
Yeah, but that's designated for housing, so.
Right, but there can't be any housing without wastewater, and I don't think they are planning
So
to hire a
they're-
consultant.
So they're not doing anything with that line?
They said no, that they
Well, they need
the
to
send a letter clarifying.
tell somebody that.
Okay. So that would be $30,000. And then if the amount from the engineering planning grant,
I was under the impression that the total amount of the cost of the attorney would be $90,000. Where would that come from?
no, the total cost for the attorney was $18,000 and the engineer was $27,500. That was what was in the proposals they gave us.
He's only going to charge $18,000 to do a whole sewer district? That doesn't seem likely.
No, I think that was to complete the map plan report. I think there was another number to actually write up the sewer district. And I can check to see how much that is. But this was to do the basic engineering and legal work to define what's needed, what would be in the sewer district, I mean, what that would contain.
Okay, because it's quite a lengthy process
I'll
to
double check that,
establish a sewer
Victoria.
district.
I'll check to see.
And I doubt if it's just going to cost $18,000.
Okay. Well, I know that was in their proposal, but I will double check that.
Okay.
Okay, and then there was an engineering, I think there's probably only another $1,000 needed besides the engineering planning grant, if we can recycle that from tie and bond. The $20,000 is in the wastewater engineering number now, and that $10,000 planning for housing. I think that would only require another, let me just add this up, 14,080. That would be
4980.
480. So we need like another $1,000 or less. I think it's, I didn't do the math, but it's like $700,000 beyond that to have enough money to hire them. So I will find out for you if there are additional legal fees. Although my understanding was that this included that, and the LaBerge Group was also going to do investigation of financing as part of their work. And so the issues, Victoria, would just be, I'll find out whether the full sewer report is included in the $18,000 from Tabner, Ryan, and Kennery, and I will just ask you to, if that number is correct, to release the engineering planning grant.
Well, the town board needs to know you know, all the fees.
Okay, they did make a presentation last
They did do a
time.
presentation, but
Well, I don't
the
remember.
attorney part, I think, believe is incomplete, because I think it's going to cost more than $18,000 to put together a sewer district.
Okay, sorry, I wish that that had been asked when they were actually here, but I can certainly call them and find
My impression from the meeting that Charlie was going to update us completely at the next meeting, the
Okay.
presentation.
Okay. All right, I'll find out answers to those many, well, not
Yeah,
many
and
questions, 2 questions.
Yeah, I worked with Charlie to get all the information that EFC needed in order
Okay.
for the grant,
Okay,
for the feasibility study. I
great.
signed a certification for EFC and made sure they all got it before the 31st. So.
Great, thank you. Okay, that is the end of my numerous comments.
Okay, is there any other town board comments? Well, if not, I make a motion to go into executive session for pending litigation, and the town clerk is excused.
Second,
Will also be with the town attorney.
beat you.
But we have to stay here.
Yes.
Supervisor Ferroti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Slaffin.
Yes.
Revelar.
Yes.
And the time is 7:49. And Supervisor Ferroti, to confirm you'll take the minutes?
Yes, I will.
Thank you, as always.